is presented by Benjamina Mia Casino. Licensed real estate professional since 2008. License number S01669991 LLC. It's a lunch hour in Vegas, and we're on the dot with Dot and Mia here on PHLV Radio.
Hello, welcome to July, everyone. Welcome to On the Dot. And we are doing our first episode for July, and our theme for this month, Mia, is
Friendship!
Friendship. Hello, friendship.
Hello, friendship!
One word lang. One word lang siya. Hi, friendship. Tao pala si friendship.
Happy Independence Day, everyone!
Yes. Alrighty. And so, without further ado...
Ay, serious pala tayong episode.
That's okay. Without further ado, let's ask Mia to introduce our guest.
Representative Susie Lee was born to a working family of 10 in Canton, Ohio. A product of the public education system, she attended Carnegie Mellon University, where she used a combination of scholarships, loans, and a part-time job to pay for her education. Representative Lee moved to Las Vegas in 1993, where she became an education nonprofit leader. She worked to improve the education system, decreased school dropout rates, and provided after-school programming for Nevada students. Her career taught her how to take a tough on problems, roll up her sleeves, and bring people together to find solutions for Nevada's problems. In Congress, she is fighting to improve our education system, honor our promise to our veterans, and tackle rising healthcare costs. Representative Lee believes in working across the aisles and bringing people together to solve problems, which is why she joined the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus. She now lives in Las Vegas with her 2 children.
Yay.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you,
Susie.
Dot,
Ma'am.
Mia. It's great to be here with both of you.
It's
Thank
great
you.
to have you here. So today marks the first episode of July, and happy 4th of July, everyone. And so our theme for the month is friendship.
Yes.
So before we go into the more serious meat of our conversation, I'd like to ask, my first question would be, what do you usually do with your friends on your free time? Because we're talking
my
friendship.
goodness. Yeah. So my friendship circle is incredibly important to me, and I spend a lot of time in the outdoors. You'll generally find me hiking pretty much every morning, either on my bike or hiking.
That's good.
So when I'm
Wow.
together with my friends, we generally like to be out exercising or be out in nature and be out on. We have great public lands in Nevada, and be out on the trails.
Nice. You do look very fit. You look very healthy and fit. Yeah.
Do you do road bike or a mountain
Both.
bike?
Both of them, yeah.
Awesome. So the other thing is, how do you balance now? You know, you have your friends, you go on hiking and biking, and you have home and Congress. So how do you balance everything?
Yeah. It's, being a member of Congress, generally I'll fly out on Monday and return back to Las Vegas on Thursday. So it's a lot of time in the air. So, scheduling that into my schedule is tough. But as you know, I have 2 children. They're both out of school, out of high school. My son just graduated. He'll be going off to college.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
Congratulations.
But, I will tell you that for women in Congress, it's incredibly tough balancing children, family, work, the travel, and especially for members on the West Coast who have quite a bit longer of a travel time. There's 128 women in Congress, so it's a little over a quarter. We need to make it half. We need to follow the Nevada legislature example, where we have a majority of women serving in our state legislature. So, but it's that balance that really, a lot of times we might have to stay late for a vote, or they might cancel votes, or they might add on days for votes, and so that uncertainty really makes it tough, especially if you have young children. But it's a lot of planning. Let's just say I have people who work for me who are my schedulers. I have one here and one in Washington, and I work very closely with them to make sure that we're scheduling my time, and then in my free time making sure I'm reaching out to people ahead of time, because it's a lot of people don't, they think I'm not here that often, and then when I come,
you're right here right now in PHLP.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a tough task, and thank you for what you're doing. Yes, so I'm gonna read my código. What is código in English?
Cheat sheet.
Cheat sheet.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so here we go. The Filipino community is the largest AAPI, or Asian American Pacific Islander community, and there's a shortage of nurses and teachers. How can this shortage be addressed with regards to visas and green cards?
So I am so proud to represent such a large AANHPI community. It's about 14% of my district is AANHPI community, and as you said, the Filipino being the largest of that. And Nevada has the second largest AAPI community in the whole United States. As you said, we have an incredible shortage of nurses and teachers, and we have many people coming from the Philippines to help us fill that shortage. And there's been such an incredible backlog of H-1B visas and processing green cards. I will tell you that President Biden named a commission that will find ways to speed up and reduce the processing time for green card applications to 6 months, remove that backlog that greatly affects so many immigrants. It's also tasked with taking on the family-based visa backlog as well, which we know affects so many families. Today, that backlog exceeds 7.5 million applications.
Oh my!
Whereas
God.
in
That's
1992, it was 3.3 million. So a lot of work being done. But ultimately, as you know, Congress has failed to pass comprehensive immigration reform, and it has really stalled our immigration process. And it's no surprise to anyone that immigration has been used as an incredible wedge issue in this country. But I'm committed to continuing to work on comprehensive immigration reform so that we can increase the number of H-1B visas we have, reduce the processing time. And I just was a co-sponsor of the Dignity Act. It's a bipartisan bill introduced by Congresswoman Salazar from Florida and Escobar from Texas. It's a bipartisan bill. I think that there's no more important issue that Congress should be working on than comprehensive immigration reform. It's a humanity issue, and it's an economic issue. As you know, especially here in Nevada, we have so many businesses that are struggling to find workers. As you said, the nursing and the teacher shortage here. And so it's important that we get an answer and we have a solution to this problem that has plagued this country for far too long.
So shall I say, is it safe to say that our nurses and teachers are looking forward to a brighter future here?
I am hoping, yes.
Okay.
It's a lot of
Right.
work, and but this is an issue that we have got to come together on and
Yes.
find a solution.
Very
Yes.
good news.
And it's been used as a wedge issue for far
Yeah.
too long.
Well, we hope that that's going to end, that being used as a wedge issue. For us here in the University of the Philippines, we have nurses and teachers
Yes, as members.
who are very good at what they're doing. So now that we're talking about Asians, how does Congress, or what is Congress doing to promote respect and high regard for Asians, Pacific Islanders, and other minority groups?
Yeah, so
Respect, yeah.
this, as we have seen since COVID-19, such an increase in hate crimes against the AAPI community. And I was proud to support and co-sponsor the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, which was signed into law by President Biden. And it's important, this bill is important because, number one, it establishes a point person at the Department of Justice that focuses solely on this. And as you know,
That's good.
Because COVID-19 originated in China, and our former president was calling it the China virus, etc. You've seen a proliferation and an increase of violence against the AAPI community, and tied primarily a lot to COVID-19. And so this bill has been very important. It also makes reporting hate crimes more accessible in our local communities with our state and local law enforcement. I joined one of the first caucuses I joined when I got to Congress was the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus. It's called CAPAC. As I said, I represent one of the highest percentage of AAPI communities in the country. And so it was important for me to have a seat on that caucus. One, to understand the issues affecting the community across the country, but two, to also bring a voice to Washington on the issues that are affecting my community and making sure that we're addressing them in Washington. And so, we're seeing in this Congress, obviously, there is an incredible attention being paid to China, to CCP, and unfortunately, that ends up having, let's just say, a tail that applies to all of the AA and HPI community. And so we're starting to see, I serve on the Appropriations Committee, and we're starting to see amendments and bills that are preventing anyone who might have a tie to China from buying land or property in the United States. And so, as a member of CAPAC, I spend a great deal of time in making sure that that language and the intent of those types of bills is driven towards the CCP, driven specifically, and that doesn't bleed out into basically applying to all AA and HPI community. And as you know, even with that, the type of language ends up having a ripple effect. And so as part of CAPAC, it's really important for us to make sure that we're very specific in the language and very specific in the intent. Because as you all know, many people don't distinguish, right, between, and so it really has an effect on the entire community. And so making sure that, one, we have to protect our national security. I understand that. I support that. But I don't want to get into a situation where you have an appearance that you might be Chinese, which some people don't make those distinctions, and they won't sell you a house even though you're an American, right?
I don't know if Mia has
and so
that,
we have to be very clear and specific about that, and make sure that when we set those types of policies, that it doesn't open the door for that type of discrimination. I think that's incredibly important.
Yeah, that was actually tackled yesterday at the rally, the anti-hate rally at the regional court.
So yes, that's important. I would like to judge other people for being racist and for being against Asians, because I myself used to be against other Asians, especially when I visited Hong Kong. I was so embarrassed with that. So I am taking steps myself to promote respect and high regard for my fellow Asians. My mind has changed. So in this regard, do you have Asian friends, Congresswoman?
Oh yeah.
And how do you maintain your
and my
friendship with
kids
them?
do. Some of my children's closest friends and my closest friends, absolutely.
I was wondering if you know any Filipino word like mabuhay. Yeah, mabuhay.
Yeah.
It means hello or welcome. So
Yes.
that's one word. Yeah. So you do have Asian friends.
Oh yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
You like Asian food.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Do you like adobo, lumpia? Okay. Then do you have other questions, Mia?
What is your son taking for college?
Well, he is a big outdoor enthusiast, and so I think he wants to go into. He eventually wants to be a doctor, but I think he wants to start out with botany or biology and studying. Yeah. My daughter is actually going to school in Europe. And she's studying pretty much international relations, and right now she's working in Geneva for a nonprofit that helps women or sexual assault victims of war. So she's
so
very
good.
heavy work, and she's dealing with a lot of Ukrainian women who have been traumatized by what's happening in Ukraine. So
You must be very proud of her.
very proud.
I feel proud of her.
Very proud of her.
Mother's footsteps.
I feel proud
That's
of her.
right. That's
and I
right.
don't know her. So I have two more questions here. Can you please explain what Problem Solvers Caucus means?
Yeah, so the Problem Solvers Caucus is a caucus of 60 members, and we're very intentional about being half Democrat and half Republican. And as you know, and many people across this country are very frustrated with the hyper partisanship and the divide in Washington. And our caucus is really focused on bringing us together and trying to,
I like that.
we have working groups like on immigration. We were instrumental in the bipartisan infrastructure bill, bringing that to the floor and getting a compromise. And I'm the vice chair of the group, and it's an important group and one that we meet once a week. We bring in speakers. We have working groups on different issues. And it's, I always say that you can't solve problems with people unless you have a relationship with them.
Oh, that's true.
And you can't have a relationship with them if you don't talk to them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Congress, even like our committee rooms, you walk in and Democrats are on one side, Republicans are on the other. In
Our
the House,
topic's
on the
perfect.
on the House floor, there's no assigned seating, but in general, the Republicans sit on the right and the Democrats sit on the left. That's where you get right and left, right? And so, you have to carve out that time where you can get together. I'm also a member of the New Dems Coalition, which is a business-focused coalition. Again, moderate, getting the job done. I'm a member of the Reagan O'Neill Society, which is basically more social, but it's just a way for us to, before members of Congress used to spend a lot more time in Washington. They didn't have to go back to their district. And so you saw families interacting together and people having dinner together. You don't get that much as much of that anymore. And so all of these caucuses are very intentional about making sure we're doing things to reach across the aisle. I'm also, I'm also the chair, co-chair of the Bipartisan Women's Caucus as well. So I take great lengths to make sure that I'm doing my part to try to reach across the aisle because, one, I represent a district that is pretty evenly split. It's a third Democrat, a third Republican, and a third independent. And so in order for me to represent my constituents, I have to have an understanding of the entire spectrum. And so these caucuses are an important way for me to be able to do that.
That's why you're a very busy woman.
Yes.
So we're going to take a short break. Please don't go away, and we will be back with Congresswoman, not Congressman, Congresswoman Lee with a couple of more questions, and so don't go away.
Just like a friend from back home.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.
PHLV Radio.
And we're back. We're back. Our question for this week is, Mia?
Given a chance, if you were to talk to someone again, who would it be, and what would the question be?
Okay, so someone long gone, dead or alive? Anyone?
Either.
Either. Okay.
Either dead or alive.
All right. So, would you like to answer that first?
Oh, wow. I mean, there's so many choices, right? From a personal point of view, I'd like to talk to my grandmother if I had a chance. There was a lot of trauma in my family in the history of that, and I'd like to get a better understanding of that. I mean, she was a woman in 1948 who had 5 children. She left her husband at that point. My father ended up going to live with an aunt. 2 of his sisters were in an orphanage. And so understanding that would be really important to me.
That's a powerful talk.
Yeah.
With your grandma,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll just talk to my dad. I don't know. We'll talk about that later. But for now, we're focused on her. Yeah, we'll talk about your way to what later, Mia.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, would you tell your grandmother what your favorite, or what part of your committee, or what committee that you're serving on right now excites you the most?
Oh yeah, so I'm on I'm on the Appropriations Committee. This is an important committee. It's obviously how we spend our federal dollars.
Okay.
And so in Congress you have committees that we call them authorizing committees. So they set the laws. The Appropriations Committee puts the money to those laws and spends it. And so that's been an important committee for me. I serve on the Energy and Water Subcommittee. As you know, Yucca Mountain is a major issue. We have nuclear waste sitting at different plants across the country. Many states want to ship their waste to Nevada. We don't want it. And so being on that committee allows me to make sure that it never gets funded. So we passed a bill that said any type of nuclear storage would have to be consent-based, meaning that the communities would have to agree to it. Yucca Mountain in 1982, they passed a bill that basically designated Yucca Mountain, and it was funded. It no longer is funded, so as a member of that committee, I make sure that it remains that way. I'm also on the MilCon Veterans Affairs Subcommittee. As you know, we have a large veteran community here in Southern Nevada. Not to mention, we have Creech and Nellis, and our National Guards. And so making sure that we support them with military construction is important. And then finally, I serve on Natural Resources Committee. So Nevada is almost 80% federally controlled land.
Yes, that's true.
And so having a seat on that committee, and obviously dealing with water, our water issues, being on the Energy and Water Subcommittee, as well as natural resources, I have a great seat to advocate for our state.
And they all excite you.
Yes,
Yeah. My husband will be very excited because he works over there by the test site. And you know how important the Department of Energy is for me. Because
Does he work with the National Nuclear Security Site?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, great.
So I know a little bit about the
you know a
waste
little
that you're
bit about
talking
that.
about.
Yeah,
and he's also a veteran. So hooray for our veterans, especially
right.
now. You know, we're celebrating. We just
July
finished
Our
the
independence,
4th of July. Okay, so is there anything else that you would like to talk about before we let you go?
I was able to celebrate Philippine Independence Day.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was
Thank
great.
you.
We went to
Hooray.
the
Palakpakan,
gala,
yeah.
which was really fun. Yeah, so
Thank
you know,
you.
listen, I mean, the Filipino community is incredibly important to Southern Nevada, and has been. And
you're important, Mia. You're
yes.
important, my friends.
that's right.
Yes.
So, you know, making sure that I am representing this
you.
community is important to me.
Thank you.
And because as a member of Congress, making sure that our entire community has voices in Washington
All right.
is important.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. And now for our quote.
For
Mia,
our quote.
we'd like your opinion on this,
All right.
Congresswoman. Yeah.
Leaders bridge the gap between talk and action.
Perfect. Bridge the gap.
Yes,
Bridge
which is
the
our
aisle.
title of the episode.
Yeah, because it's
Bridging the
friendship.
gap.
Yeah, that's right.
So, what do you feel about that? What do you think of that? Leaders.
Yeah, listen, I mean,
Bridge
you know,
the
in
gap.
order to be a leader, you have to not take no for an answer, and you have to figure out a way to get to yes. And, you know, that's what makes you a leader, is being able to understand the problem, understand the obstacles, and find a way to overcome those obstacles, or
Yeah.
bridging the gap. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I like to. It brings to mind this favorite quote of mine. Not quote. It's just a phrase: "Love and miracles in action." Love and miracles in
That's
action.
right.
So hopefully that's what's happening to our government, you know, and us.
That's
know,
right,
The
yeah.
Filipino American community and everyone else. So. What else, Mia? Is there anything else that we need to talk about before we let our distinguished guest go?
And I just want to thank you. I'm part of the hula group, and I dance for Filipiniana. So you encompass the Filipino and the Hawaiian community. So I would like to thank you for
Sure.
being the voice.
All right, thank you. It's
Your
been great being with
voice.
both of you. Thank you
Yes.
for having me today.
Yes, thank you so much for being with us. And you can say goodbye to your viewers, your
All right,
fans.
bye
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All righty.
Just like a friend from back home.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.
PHLV Radio.
On the Dot is a joint project of PHLV and the University of the Philippines Alumni Association of Nevada, or UPAAN, a 501c3 nonprofit. Contents of On the Dot are not of PHLV and UPAAN, but of hosts and guests. Sponsors and advertisers are welcome. Funds will support scholars, academic project, relief operations, and community events. All UP graduates currently residing in Nevada are welcome to join UPAN. Call 702-281-9063 or email at miamcasino@gmail.com.
So that was an interesting conversation with Congresswoman Lee. We also call her Representative Lee, and very interesting answers to our questions.
Yes.
So what about you, Mia? What's your wait, who, what answer?
Me?
If there's someone, what's the question again?
If given a chance to talk to someone, who would it be and what would be your question?
Okay, so who would it be, Mia?
Pwede dalawa.
Sure.
My parents.
Because you don't have both of them anymore? Okay.
Tsaka when they died, parang ganun.
Like you were taken by surprise?
Oo. Yeah.
Okay. And then what would your question be?
My dad, my papa kasi, my last moment with him was when I left. So I just say thank you for everything, and then my mom, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's very touching, Mia, no? Just like Representative Lee, she wants to talk to her grandma, and it's interesting that we want to talk to our dearly departed. Yeah. I also want to talk to my tatay. Yeah.
What will you say?
I will ask the question, where did you put your bank book? What happened to your savings?
Kakainis naman to si Dad.
Because you just died without talking. You went to sleep. Oh, another question is, Tatay, while you were in coma for 10.5 years, could you hear us? Were you able to hear us?
Oh, daw, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to ask him if he was...
That's the last to go, the hearing.
So I want to know if he was able to hear everything and feel
Tinanong
everything.
mo, where is your bank book?
Where did you put your
Tinanong mo
bank
ba?
book?
Did you ask? Did you ever ask, where is your bank book?
Oh, yeah, we did, but he couldn't answer. He was in coma. Kaya ngayon, if I see him again, given the chance to talk to him again,
You can, the boss, with the spiritists.
Yeah. Thinking about that. Okay, we can talk to someone about that. But anyway, what about our viewers? What about these people we interviewed? So let's take a look at what they have for Wait Who What.
If I would be given a chance to talk to someone again, I think that would be my father. And I will say, I have already forgiven you before you even ask for it. And I believe that everything happens for a reason. And it's unusual for a daughter to say to his father, thank you for letting me experience how wonderful life is. Although I didn't see you ever since I was born. And I guess what you did helped me become better person, and you helped me to become who I am right now. And if someday our paths will cross, my arms are wide open to accept you again and give you a chance to do your role as a father. And I guess that would be all.
I would like to say thank you for my Aunt Connie. She passed away 2 years ago and never had the chance to say to her face to face thank you for all the fun memories, for the gift of faith that she shared with me. And also would like to say sorry because there were times during the past that we had this little misunderstanding and I didn't get a chance to say sorry. So thank you and sorry, And I know she's watching over us here now. Thank you.
If I were to talk to someone again, it would be me. I thank and appreciate my younger self a lot because she is the reason where I am today. I admire her courage and I admire her bravery because all of the tribulations in life, she still fought bravely and never took a step back along the way. I admire her because even if the world was crashing down and even if she felt that she cannot carry the burdens anymore, she still kept going with an upbeat attitude and character, and that's all. That is why I salute my younger self so much.
Okay, so interesting points of view of people we asked. Who would you want to talk to? Given a chance to talk to someone, who would that be and what would your question be? So yeah, hope you also type in your answers over there, right there where you're watching right now, maybe Facebook or on the PHLV radio website. And so it's about time for us to wrap up, Mia. Let's have our own answer to that quote of yours. Yeah, can you recite it? Again.
Repeat it again for the second time
yes,
around.
Panatang Makabayan. All right.
It's leaders bridge the gap between talk and action.
Okay, so go ahead. How do you do that, Mia, as a leader?
How I see the quote is it's not all talk. So you have to practice what you preach.
Kumbaga, walk your talk.
Yes.
Yeah, walk your talk.
And leaders do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tama.
Tama. Correct.
Tama. Correct.
Yes.
Just like the answer of our distinguished guest, she wants to put everything in action as well. And so also the same thing with friendship, when we don't just say, hi friend, I love you friend. So we put our love in action, and we take leadership in the way we relate with other people. We take accountability and responsibility for the way we deal with things in our lives, like ikaw, Yupaan, ito, PHLV, community leaders. So we put our words into action. Diba?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a nice goal. Sino siya? Sino?
Wala nakalagay lang leadership. Hang on, maliit yung
Leadership rhymes with friendship.
Leadership freak. Yung dun galing. But yung the leaders are the one who ang tawag dun?
They pull together,
Yeah,
they gather all those stuff. Okay.
They make it happen.
Yeah. So so our theme for this month is friendship. And in the next weeks, next Wednesdays, we will have guests who will talk about friendship.
Yes. This week is Filipino-American friendship.
All right. Oh, you know what? For the rest of July, we will have relationships with chocolate.
Lahat
There's
ng
a chocolate
friendship
day.
na maisip
There's a mojito day. And there's
Yes.
ice cream day. And Parents' Day and everything.
Wag lang
So,
friends with benefits.
Wag lang po. Okay. So I guess that ends our show for this Wednesday.
Yes.
And happy 4th once again to
Happy
everyone.
4th. Have a safe one.
Yes.
Take care of your pets. Takot sila sa fireworks. Bye-bye.